We all remember Knee Deep in the Dead, right? The small map in which you play as Christian trying to overthrow the tyrannical regime of the undead Necrolord. Or maybe that's just my headcanon. I don't read the scenario descriptions all that often. Well, we're playing it again, but with a twist. Just replaying the scenario to improve on the day's played is not something I will do. Yet. Today, I'm playing as the Necrolord, aka Uncle Sandro. This is fairly simple to make happen. Just open the map in the editor and set blue as playable. Only thing to note, any editing I do to a map apparently makes it a HOTA map, as that's the latest map editor version I have. So, HOTA it is today. As blue, I start off with a bunch of advantages. My starting town has Castle, Mage Guild level 5, Necromancy Amplifier, Unearthed Graves, and Cover of Darkness, which is useless in this case, pre-built. The funny part is, since I play on 200% and the starting zone barely has any resources needed to build a higher tiered creature dwellings, this is not as big of an advantage as it seems. The reason this is a big advantage for the AI when I'm playing as red is that the AI starts off with a ton of resources no matter the scenario difficulty, meaning they will build up the town no matter what, which I can't. Mage Guild level 5, however, is super good. Uncle Sandro starts off with +3 attack, +6 defense, and +2 power in artifacts, as well as a Ring of Life and Orb of Driving Rain. The latter is useful if I can get some water spells, and the secondary skill tree is filled up with basic skills. Wisdom, Necromancy, all the elemental magic schools, Scholar, and Sorcery. It starts at level 3, which means 2 secondary skill level ups. But it seems Wisdom is always at advanced, as he is a mage hero and gets Wisdom at minimum every 3rd level up, which is level 3 in this case. His Sorcery specialty is buffed on this HOTA patch, which could make it quite a useful skill. So how do I approach this map as blue? The only way to leave my starting zone is by going through the green border guard, but I need to visit the Keymaster's tent for that, which I need to go through the green border guard to do, so it's impossible. Or is that the only way? My Mage Guild is level 5, and my Wisdom is advanced, so if I can find a seed with Fly, I think Dimension Door is unavailable on this map, and then level up to Expert Wisdom, I can just flap my wings across the mountain barriers. This means I need to get the experience from the chests close to the mausoleum, which also has 1 treasure, 1 minor, and 1 major artifact close by. But getting Fly and Expert Wisdom is just half the battle. Red, aka Nephew Christian, have a few things going for them as well. Piss off, Nephew Christian. They have a decent starting army, access to a few creature dwellings, a refugee camp, and will be able to build up the neutral town quickly after flagging it, meaning there's a decent chance I have an inferior army when facing them. Unless I spend a lot of time to build my town up, which will be slow as I don't have pathfinding and have necro units on snowy terrain. I think the best way is to rely on Sandro's spellcasting early, and basically just attack as soon as I can using whatever army I can muster up, spending as little time on the snow as undeadedly possible. The question is, will it be faster than playing as red? Spoiler, it definitely won't. But how quickly can I do it? Let's take a look. Alright, so playing as blue, check. Gold bonus, as I need that desperately, check. Red gold bonus, as they cheat with resources, so it's relatively less valuable than artifact bonus. Check! I think we're good to go. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and maybe even become a channel member. To find the correct seed, I need to find a fight against the Alchemist's Lab Guard, where I've moved first, and then reset 8 times. This is easier said than done, as necro units are quite slow, but I found it pretty fast this time. After finding the correct seed, which obviously has Fly, I go into town to learn all the spells I can from the Mage Guild, then engage the Centaur Captains. Auto did a respectable job, for once, so I truck on towards the Hobgoblins to the north. To make everything a bit easier, I accept their wish for greater glory and they join my ranks. See how little I got done in one day? Snowy terrain is just a pain in the butt. Day 2, I swing by the star axis and the water wheel before I ignore the cursed temple, as every bit of extra movement is really costly. Every day is so slow, it's almost infuriating. The null fight I skip in order to save movement, and the XP isn't all that amazing from the fight either. I reached level 4 on day 3 from the Learning Stone, skipping Earth Magic as I don't have much use for it in later fights anyway. Christian then just evaporates my quote-unquote garrison on day 3. He's quick, that Christian. On day 4, I hire a second hero, Thunder, as he has the most starting movement points. Both he and Clavius get extra gold every turn, and I'll hire them both eventually to make the most of their gold generating abilities. Maxing my spell points on the magic wall, I'm ready for the Medusa fight. This is where the fun begins. I obviously will use spells to do most fights, and the most mana efficient and turn efficient spell I have, in my opinion, is Frost Ring. 126 damage AoE spell for 9 spell points is quite good, and it takes out the top 2 stacks. The Medusas then target my Hobgoblins and one of my white stacks, probably because they can reach the Medusas the fastest. I use another Frost Ring on turn 2 to take out the bottom 2 stacks, but I can't cast any more spells after this. I need the spell points later, so instead I start hitting the remaining stack with everything I got, trying to take advantage of the white regen ability. After a few rounds, my Hobgoblins unstone themselves and get the final hit in. Quite a decent fight. The spell points are needed because I need a lightning bolt and a magic arrow to take out the liches guarding the mausoleum, which costs me exactly 12 spell points, which is the exact amount I have left after the previous fight. I could have saved the Hobgoblins by defending instead of waiting on turn 1, but I just instinctively pressed wait. Oops. Anyway, 2 spell casts and the fight is done. Instead of recruiting the liches, I instead head straight for the artifacts and chests up north. The minor and major artifacts are Crown of the Supreme Magi and Golden Bow respectively. Both are actually quite handy, the Crown for the extra spell casting I can do and the Golden Bow for the liches. Both are part of the reason for choosing this seed. The treasure artifact is useless though, but that's fine. 2 out of 3 are useful. Can't really ask for more, can you? From playing through this seed a few times, I found it best to just get XP from one of the chests and instead take the gold from the remaining 3, in order to buy as much army as possible. So that's what I do. This nets me just 1 level up, but that level up is for Expert Wisdom, which is the only secondary skill level up I truly need. With Thunder, I visit the Learning Stone to get a decent level up as well, Logistics, which will make future chaining a little bit more efficient. Day 6 and Sandro visits the Garden of Revelation. Any knowledge I can get will let me play with more freedom, as spellcasting is the way to victory for me. Thunder takes all the slow units off of Sandro's hands, but I keep forgetting he's called Necrolord in this scenario. Oh well, too late to change that now. Restoring spell points on the mana well is to avoid having to stay in town to get enough mana to cast Fly later, and afterwards I set my sights on the return trip to town and hire Clavius, who will also help get more army for Sandro. Thunder will be parked in the mausoleum until week 2 day 1, safe and sound. If I were a smart man, I'd also make a stop by the shrine to teach Sandro Ice Bolt, which is strictly better than Lightning Bolt with my secondary skills. But apparently, I'm not a smart man. Finishing day 7 with every hero in their optimal spots is perfect. I'm set up well for the next week. Thunder recruits more liches, Clavius recruits more skeletons, units are transferred to Clavius, who also makes sure to get the gold from the water wheel before further transferring the units to Sandro, who leaves them in town after making use of the skeleton transformer I forgot to mention I built earlier. That's also the only thing I build in this whole playthrough. Now, I just position myself for the next turn. After picking up the campfire with Thunder, Clavius heads into town to recruit the final creatures and turning some useless Walking Dead into less useless skeletons, before finally trading everything over to Sandro, with no movement left. Perfectly set up. Very happy with this so far. And with this, I'm finally ready to take on Red. 1 fly later, and Sandro heads over the mountains, making a pit stop by the rallying flag for some extra movement and luck, the morale is useless, before meeting Christian on the road. I'm not sure it's better to fight him in the open compared to chasing him back to town, as he can use his ballista here, but I figured, he's here, might as well take him on. Otto makes a valiant effort, but is unfortunately beaten. Gotta do this manually. A couple of problems to solve here. The 36 archers will do a lot of damage if left to their own devices. Same with the 63 halberdiers. If I can lure his melee units into my 162 skeletons' range, this should be doable. I'll have to take full advantage of my mana to whittle Christian down here as well. On turn 1, I Frost Ring his archers and Walking Dead, taking out a fair amount of them. Unfortunately, Liches can't damage the Walking Dead with the AoE ability, but they still take out a further handful of archers. Christian seems very interested in hitting the air elementals, which buys me time to cast more spells before his creatures eventually reach my skeletons. After turn 1, he's taken out 2 Liches with his range and magic capabilities, but I still have the upper hand here. Magic Arrow does pretty much the perfect amount of damage to kill off his archers, and then I wait with everything except my Liches, who just tickle the halberdiers a little bit. I see no reason to move forward yet. On turn 3, I start Magic Arrowing his swordsman, as I don't want to spend too much mana, and Magic Arrow is the cheapest offensive spell I have. Finally, Christian is in range, which my air elementals really feel. Finally, my skeletons get the first hit in, smacking his halberdiers around, leaving only 25 of them. This is now the skeleton show. Another Magic Arrow takes out a few more swordsmen, but after my final Lich shoots its final shot, Christian's halberdiers get a nasty morale. I've only got skellies left. Thankfully, they're an actual power stack at this point, demolishing the swordsman and eviscerating the halberdiers afterwards. Tasty! Christian sees the writing on the wall and flees, the coward. I still have 165 skeletons left after getting 17 from Necromancy, which is heavily nerfed in Hota by the way. Next objective, Red's Town. I move into fly position on week 2 day 3 and spread my wings of death the next day. Final fight, let's go. I was so impressed with Otto's results here, I figured I'd let him play it out himself. While we watch Otto's brilliancy, I have to say I think it was really fun to play literally the opposite way of what the developers intended. I have some more maps I'd like to try this approach on, but that will be in the future. Tell me what you think, and whether or not you want to see more of this. Anyway, Red is vanquished, I am victorious, in 11 days. This is Hota, so the score formula is different, meaning only 400 score and a Chaos Hydra rank. Still, not bad, but I do miss the Archangel. If you made it this far, I'd greatly appreciate a like, comment and a subscription. I hope you have a might and magically good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. An extra special thank you to my channel members, Onufry, Sebastian Kopats, Retorado Ricardo, Radnosorth, Mana Jarmer Running Skull, Milkman, Matt H, Seal Oil, Rick Vissout, Escubani, and Anub Nimus. Thank you very much as always.